All right, welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Jasmy price once again, because what you see across the board is that we've got a lot of things which are in red, and every single headline in financial markets is indicating that, look, the economy is bad, things are going to get worse. And, I think these are headlines which are very much designed to make you feel like, you know what, I'm just going to hit that sell button and then I'll never see crypto again. Really, I think that 2 weeks later, people are going to be regretting the decision of selling their altcoins right now, because I think that right now we're at the exact bottom here. I have been talking, of course, about Jasmy, saying that, look, the thing that kickstarts the bull run here for Jasmy time and again is the 50-day moving average. And if I may just show that one more time, I know that you have seen it again and again and again and again, but this is really what consistency is all about. We don't have to be changing positions because, we feel like fearful today or anything like that. The data is what the data always says. So you see, Jasmy is backtesting this 50-day moving average here. I have said time and again that above the 50-day moving average, you usually have got like very good pumps. Actually, this 64% that you see in this moment was actually one of the weakest ones, right? We usually talk about 200% plus, as you can see in this moment right here, where you were pumping 218%. And then, of course, if you go back to the one that we had in May 2024, you can also see that that resulted in something like 130 something percent, but it was coming at the back of another rally after you had broken above the 50-day moving average one more time, getting above like 400% or something like that. So this has been a very good indicator. We can go back as far as 2023 and still use it, and you see that it worked perfectly. Go back as far back as 2022 also, and you see it working like clockwork. So I mean, time and again, I've also been illustrating that, look, even if you break the 50-day moving average, you usually have somewhat of a back test, and I was expecting this time to be no different. Hence, I'm actually saying that this where the Jasmy price that is sitting at this point, right around like 1.48, is a very good strong area as a support level. We're just backtesting the 50-day moving average, which has been time and again an indicator to kickstart this bull cycle here for Jasmy. So that's where I am. But I'm also looking at things from a shorter time frame perspective, and I see something that is very clear here, like a bottoming sign. I mean, this is something that I've seen over and over, in the years that I've been in crypto. So I mean, it looks like an inverse head on shoulders pattern here, where you can say, okay, this is your head in the middle, another shoulder here, then of course another one, then you have got a neckline, as you can see right there. Take a look at where the Jasmy price that is sitting right now. It appears as if the price has just come back, breakout, back test of this whole thing, and looking to even go ahead and set way higher. Now, another way to approach this would be looking at this in terms of like the Elliott wave count, and say, like, since we are looking at a bottoming structure here, this is your wave 1, this is your wave 2, this is your wave 3 there, then this should be your wave 4, and of course you're looking for that 5th wave, which take the price at least higher than the 3rd wave, as you can see right there. So one way or the other, Jasmy is still looking very much bullish, and I actually like how the 4th wave is looking in here, because usually you want to see a very clear A, B, C correction, and that's exactly what we have right there. Now, another way you could also look at this chart and try to say, okay, does this area have any confluence? We're looking at the 50-day moving average being right exactly there. We also looked at this Elliott wave count. Then we can also try to look at it from a different perspective. Okay, from the very bottom right there until the top, what you also realize is that this price chart has just managed to come down here and hit a golden ratio of like the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. Now, if you also want to be saying, okay, let's not reference this bottom, we can go ahead and reference this one, which is higher. You also see that you actually are hitting a major retracement level, which is like the 702 Fibonacci retracement level. So there is a lot of confluence on this specific Jasmy price chart. Now, on top of that, we are also seeing that an interesting pattern has emerged right there, which is of course a bullish one, and that is this falling wedge that you see playing out right here. Now, what we have talked about here on the channel time and again is to say that these falling wedges are very much bullish patterns. I mean, statistically speaking, you're looking at a win ratio of like 66% to go ahead and reach their price target, in which the situation here you'll be looking at the top of the wedge as your price target. So that will be right around 2.1 cents here for Jasmy, and I think it's going to be coming because everybody has actually given up on Jasmy right now. People are looking to sell, right? People are tired of holding this whole thing, and I think it's in these moments where you see magic happening. I mean, just to touch a little bit on these falling wedges, actually we traded one recently. I was announcing it both on X and here on the channel. Remember when we started moving that, look, we had this falling wedge right there, and you can see how it eventually pushed the price higher, right? We have also traded like bigger ones here for Jasmy. If you remember back in the day, like this whole thing here was another falling wedge, And what we were doing was, measuring it like this here. I mean, this was, it was a very good one, right? And even this one, I remember we also talked about it, even we traded, I'm thinking, right? So this was also another falling wedge right there. And statistically speaking, these falling wedges actually just give us great returns here for the Jasmy price. So it's nice to see that in times when everybody, literally everybody on planet Earth is losing their bearings, the Jasmy price that is still behaving okay. I mean, technically speaking, we have got a lot of confluence right around this 1.48 cents as a support level here for Jasmy. Now, I have invested a lot of time talking about this in my last videos. I think all my last 50 videos or something like that have been pointing out to this 50 daily moving average time and again. It really has been my main thesis, and I'm not scared to be wrong, right? I don't want to come here and say to you today, if this happens, then this will happen. And then the next day I come and say, okay, if this happens, then at the end of the day, I'm going to be right anyway. No, I have a position which I'm saying that, look, that 50 daily moving average usually has been an area of support, and that's exactly how I'm banking my trades as well. Patreon members know this. I have been consistent time and again. So if this thing fails as well, obviously I'm putting my career on the line as well, but it is what it is, right? You have to believe in something at the end of the day. But this is exactly what I believe about the Jasmy price, that whether I turn out to be wrong or not, there is literally no alternative right now as I'm speaking, right? Unless maybe the Jasmy price that really breaks below the 50 daily moving average and does something that I've never seen. But even in that situation, I won't be the one to say that I told you that it was. Nah, the whole thing that I'm actually banking on here is that we find support on that 50 daily moving average, and then of course just looking right around the market, especially if you take a look at the Bitcoin price. I've always said time and again that, look, we have formed this cup and handle formation, and on top of that, just recently we have also formed this bull pattern here. I think that Bitcoin at some point is going to be headed towards like $140,000, $135,000, and in this moment when BTC is going to be doing its rally towards $150,000, Jasmy will go bananas. That's where we are right at this point. And there is actually a chart which supports that idea, which is the Bitcoin, the Jasmy versus the Bitcoin price. You can see that it is at all time, low supports right there, which means that Jasmy is, poised to outperform Bitcoin, where the whole thesis is actually based on. So you guys know what I've been talking about. I don't usually change my mind on things like that. I think that we are hitting support levels right now. So probably by the time we get to next week, maybe mid next week, whatever the case may be, it's also very hard to predict time. But I think that with the way we are seeing negative headlines rise across the board, I think at some point Trump was saying that we have actually sent 2 submarines to go ahead, nuclear submarines, just in case Russia does something. These guys are literally talking about a nuclear warfare, and that's exactly how bottoms have been formed right in this market. This is really just going off of experience. It's in the chaos that the best opportunity is here. Now take a look at the other thing that has changed drastically. The whole market at this point is now focused on the Fed going to cut in September, and I'll tell you that the market will run between now and September. It's almost an obvious situation here, because that's where everybody is now focused on, because there was like bad numbers in the job market today, and the odds have risen as high as 90% the Fed is going to be cutting in the next meeting. So between now and then, I think the narrative is the Fed just has to cut. And it's a narrative. It doesn't necessarily mean that when the Fed actually cuts, the market rallies. I think that the market is going to rally before the Fed actually cuts. Right there, when it cuts, I really don't know what will happen, but some data also suggests that actually has been bad for the market. But in any case, I think that we also have got a narrative shift that the Fed is going to be cutting in September. So between now and September, there is a very good chance that the market is going to be rolling here. So I think you understood what's what here for the Jasmy price at end. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and then I'll see you on the next one. And of course, if you want to be seeing more of this Jasmy content, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.